All right. So to get started this morning, we're actually going to start seated, which is different than we usually do, to work on some breath practices, in particular Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril breath. So as part of our, kickoff to April, we're going to focus on opening sort of the chest, relaxing the shoulders. Um, but one of the things that can be really helpful because we're transitioning seasons. We're transitioning from the cold into hopefully some warmth, is the balanced breath of alternate nostril breathing. I'll just demonstrate quickly. We'll do a few rounds of this alternate nostril breath. We'll do a little bit of warm up. Then we'll go to our backs, do some more warm up, and then flow into our sequence. So for alternate nostril breath, if you can sort of make the peace finger with your hands, this is nice to just stretch out the fingers of your hand. And you can let those two, the index finger and the middle finger, just rest in the space between your eyebrows. And you can even do, just sort of like a little rubbing here, just relaxing, you know, um, this is the area, sort of the concentration area where we can get some thinking lines here. So just this a gentle touch with your own fingers can help to soften those worry lines. And then you'll take your ring finger on the left side of your nose, and then the thumb is going to go on the right side, not at the same time. We'll start with the ring finger on the left, and then breathe in through the right. Block the right, release the left, and exhale. Breathe in left, breathe out right. Continue at your own pace. Noticing if one side seems a little more open. Notice that as you practice this, you might notice the opening becoming a little bit more pronounced as you use the breath to invite this passageway of air to flow a little more deeply. We'll just finish up with an exhale out the left side. No hurry to get there. And just release the hand onto your lap. Take a couple of deep belly breaths where you breathe into the belly, diaphragm drops down. Breathe into the ribs, and then exhale ribs and belly. Breathe in belly, ribs, exhale ribs, belly. Breathe in belly, ribs, exhale ribs, belly. Two more at your own pace. And if your eyes are closed, you can open them, and we'll come to a cross-legged position. And if this bothers your knees or it just feels uncomfortable in any way, you could actually come onto a chair. We'll do a little spinal warm up here. So hands come on the knees and gently press the hands into the knees and the knees into the hands. Have them resist and see if that can bring your spine into a little bit longer of a length. Invite a broadening across the collarbones and then a softening down of the shoulder blades down the back. We'll do some cat and cows here. So as you exhale, round the spine, drop the chin, and then inhale, press into the knees, arch the spine. And then the exhale, you round. And the inhale, you arch. Just do that a couple more times. When you're doing the arch, can you draw the shoulder blades towards each other and down your back? So see if you can get a little bit more of that arch into the mid part of the spine. Yeah, and then just pause here. Switch which leg is in front. Notice how that feels. Hands come back on the knees. And let's do a little bit of circling with the torso. And you can involve your shoulders in this. Again, if it's been a while since you've done yoga or any sort of stretching, this can be a nice sort of fluid way to just get the joints and muscles hydrated. When you're ready, you can change direction. Now see if you can let your head and your neck be relaxed here too. And then how about the jaw? Can you relax the jaw? And notice how it feels to switch directions here. Might feel that one side is much more coordinated than the other. And then pause in the center. Have your left hand on the mat. Inhale, the right arm comes up and you might need to bend that left elbow a little bit so the shoulder's not creeping up towards the ear. Invite that right hip to be heavy. And can you feel the lower right rib moving away from that hip, creating space there? And now can you spin your torso up towards the ceiling? Just getting another part of the side body. And then exhale. Come back through center. Just take a moment, notice the two sides of the body. Right hand is down, left arm comes up and over. The left hip is heavy. Maybe you bend that right elbow a little bit. Doesn't have to touch the ground, but you just want to keep that right shoulder away from the ear. And feel the opposing qualities, the earth quality of the hip, where it's grounded, it's anchored. And then the air quality of the ribs, where you're inviting space in between them. And then spin the torso up towards the ceiling. And just imagine, maybe you visualize one of your favorite animals stretching in the morning. And then exhale, come back to the center. Let your left hand come on the right knee. The right hand comes behind you. So still facing forward. Root down, nice long spine. And then exhale, begin to twist to the right, but keep drawing the left hip back. And so sometimes it can take a little while to sort of train the mind and the body to work together. So the mind knows that you want to keep the left hip grounded, but the body wants to follow. That left hip wants to follow the left rib. And you can kind of let it and notice the difference in the sensations you feel. Exhale, come back through center. Set up for the other side. Root to rise, nice long spine. And then twist towards the left. The right hip stays rooted. Back to center. Let's extend the legs, get that circulation going in the legs, and just kind of shake out the legs. Let the leg bones flop side to side in the hip socket. Circle out the ankles. And sometimes sort of, stiff ankles can contribute to knee pain as well. You look up and you look below. A lot of times the cause of discomfort is not necessarily on the joint where it's showing up. And then reverse direction. So to play it safe, you just get everything, everything nice and warmed up and mobilized. And then just point and flex. Opposite feet, like you're doing a little toe tap. Stretching out the tops of the feet. All right. So let's come to table pose on your mat. And we will be doing some knee down lunges. So if you benefit from having support under your knee, maybe roll up a blanket, or some of you even have your gardening knee supports. So let's come into table, spin the fingers so that the middle finger is facing straight forward, toes are turned under. And then just press through, one at a time, press through those toes, stretching out the arches of the feet. And let's come into a cat and cow. Notice how it feels doing this pose in this direction. You might feel a little bit greater range of motion. And then pause. Turn the toes under, float the knees up, coming into your downward dog. Just allow this to be a stretch. So maybe imagine a little puppy stretching in the morning, or maybe it's a full-grown dog. Just organically moving the body to create space and remove tightness. And lower the knees down. Have your blocks to the front of your space, hands on the blocks. Now let's take that right leg forward, the knees bent. And just begin lengthening and bending. Being mindful of the sensations. Don't want to feel any pinching or burning or sharpness or tingling. And as you repeat this, maybe the range of motion gets a little bit larger. The knee bends a little deeper. The leg gets a little straighter. Just watch the body as it responds to this movement. Does it like it? Next time the knees bend, pause here. Option to stay here, sort of breathing into this pose, or maybe you take the hands to that front leg. Now that's going to require a little bit more grounding into that right foot, especially the big toe area, to keep your balance. You can add on by reaching the arms up overhead. Relax the shoulders down the back of the body. Maybe bend the elbows apart. This is the How Wonderful Mudra. Feel the chest expand. Feel the shoulder blades drawing down and towards each other. And then inhale, the arms rise up. You lengthen the leg, walk the blocks close to you. And then let the leg kind of wobble side to side in the hip socket, just as you did when we were sitting in the floor with the legs extended. So again, this can be nice just to get rid of stiffness in the front of the hip here. And then pause. Take that right leg back to meet the left. Now, if this feels okay, toes curl under. And then you're going to gently lean back. So if you're having sort of trouble with your knees, you may not be going very far at all, but this is a nice quad stretch. Belly lifts, tailbone lengthens. And we just do this a couple more times. So core's engaged. Shoulders draw back, so there's no rounding of the shoulders. And just one more round. You pause here. Let the hands come on the hips, weighting the hips down. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other, and then think about arching back. The chest is drawing up towards the ceiling. Back of the shoulders draw towards each other. If it feels okay, you stretch the front of the neck. And then exhale. Release out of that. Sometimes that you can get a little lightheaded after that. So just take your time before coming to the other side. And then you begin the lengthening and bending. So it can be kind of interesting when you switch sides, because the first side, you may have gotten warmed up and your range of motion, was slowly getting larger and larger. And then when you start with the other side, it's like starting from square one, and you realize, that really did improve my range of motion. Now, as you're doing this, trying to keep a broadness across the collarbones. So there's a tendency to sort of round the spine here. But can you keep the spine from rounding? And that might mean that you don't go as deep into this pose. All right, next time the knee's bent, you pause here. You try out what it feels like to have the hands off the blocks and on the thighs. Root down through that front foot. Then the arms rise up. And then the elbows bend. It's like you're pulling down on one of those lap bars. Shoulder tips draw down and towards each other. Just imagine how wonderful the new spring flowers are going to look once they appear. Then extend the arms up. Release the hands to the blocks. Walk them back towards you so you can maintain this nice long spine. And then the leg. The entire leg is just rolling from side to side. So it's most obvious that the foot is going like a windshield wiper, but the ankle's not moving. The movement's coming from the leg. And you pause. Bring that left knee back to meet the right. We'll do another round of this. Toes curl under, belly lifts, tailbone lengthens. That's going to help to engage the core. And you lean back. And then you rise up. But again, you just do this to the degree. You don't want to feel especially any tingling or sharpness. One more round. Nice. Now take your blocks just to the outsides of your feet. I'm going to have an option to take that first back bend a little deeper into camel pose. Camel pose is a really deep back bend, so just if you're getting enough of a back bend with the hands on the hips, you stay right here. So hands on the hips to root down here, root the lower body. And then the upper body lifts and arches over this imaginary beach ball. And then maybe you take one hand to a block, maybe the other arm to a block. And you breathe and you invite space across the collarbones, across the front of the throat. And release out when you're ready.
Are your toes supposed to be bent under, or are your feet flat when you do that?
So either way, I like to bend. I usually turn my toes under because sometimes I'll come and I'll take my hands on my heels. But I would say it's not crucial. Either one of them works.
Okay.
So now let's come belly down. And again, if you want to keep the blanket there to support your hips, if you're on a hard floor, you could do that. And we're in a Sphinx pose for starters, and just let the body flow from side to side. Just gently encouraging the front of the hips to find length and space. And then pause, tops of the feet pressing into the floor. Elbows, forearms, and hands pressing into the floor. Shoulder blades slide down the back. Think about energetically drawing the elbows towards the hips and the front of the chest towards the wall in front of you. Enjoy a few breaths here. This can be a really nice pose for gardening as well, undoing a lot of the forward bending that's involved in gardening. All right, when you're ready, release down. Let the hands make a pillow for the forehead. So the forehead's resting on the back of the hands. Feet are close together. Lower body is heavy, so you're pressing into the hips. And now just lift the elbows off of the mat. Nod your head, yes. Keep pressing your head into your elbows as the head begins to lift off the mat. The hands are lifting the head up. So with this configuration, you're probably not going to lift very high, but this is a really great back strengthening posture. See if you can maintain a couple more breaths here. And then exhale, release down. Bend your knees and just let them flow from side to side. You can roll out your forehead as well. Release the legs down. Press up through table. And then downward dog. Pedal out your legs. Lower the knees to the mat. Your blocks at the front again. Take the left foot forward. So you're in a low lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up, gentle back bend. How wonderful it is. Reach the arms up. Pull down. How wonderful. One more time, reach up. So the elbows are coming right into the side body. And then exhale, release the hands to the blocks. The leg is straight. We'll do a little pulsation here. Inhale, press into the arms, nice long spine. Exhale, elbows bend. The ribs draw towards the leg. And then straighten the arms. 2 more times. Elbows bend, you drop lower. Inhale, straighten and rise. Exhale, bend and lower. Inhale, straighten and rise. Take that left knee back. And the right leg comes in front. Inhale, rise. Exhale, draw the elbows down. And inhale, rise up. 2 more times. Elbows down. And you rise. Elbows down. And you rise. Exhale, straighten the legs. Lower the hands to the block. 3 pulsations. Exhale, elbows bend straight back. Ribs drop towards the thigh. And then straighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. And inhale, straighten. Right knee back to meet the left. Hands come down and you step back into your downward dog. You can't allow any of those intuitive movements.
Hi, Barbara. This is Carolyn calling.
And continue to breathe it out. And then when you're ready, you can walk your hands to the back of the mat. It's generous bend in the knees. Hands come to the thighs. Press into the thighs. Hands come to the hips. Use your core, root into the feet, and rise up. Very nice. Inhale, reach up, stretch, gentle back bend. Exhale, you fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Inhale, chair pose. Utkatasana, mindful of the knees. Just checking in on sensations. And then inhale, rise, gentle back bend. Flip the left palm up, grab the wrist and stretch to the right. So just as we did seated, turn your gaze, roll the left shoulder back, getting a little bit more into the front of the side body. And then inhale back to center, switch sides. And then roll the right shoulder back, take the gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release the arms. Slowly roll out the shoulders. All right, grab your strap or your t-shirt or whatever you've got. And we're going to start with the strap behind our back. So I've got this a little wider than shoulder width apart. Have your legs a little wider than shoulder width apart, knees are bent. On your inhale, pull the tie apart. So you're pulling the tie apart. Now the trick is keep pulling the tie as you fold forward, knees bent to protect the back. Let the arms draw towards the wall in front of you. Let the shoulders come up towards the ears. Now, we don't hear this very often. Relax the shoulders towards the ears. Press into the feet. As you rise up, try to keep the shoulders up towards the ears. And then once you're up, just relax. Let the shoulders slide away. Nice. Now, if that felt easy, take your hands a little closer. If it felt like it was too challenging, take your hands a little further apart. Sometimes it just takes kind of playing around with something to find the right tension. So pull the tie apart. So notice when you pull the tie apart, it draws the shoulders back. Knees are bent to protect the lower back, and you fold forward. Arms drawn towards the ceiling, maybe towards the wall in front of you. Shoulders come up towards the ears. And then press into the feet. Keep the shoulders where they are. Roll up. And then release the shoulders. Get rid of the tie. All right. I want to just check in. How's everybody doing?
Good.
All right. So we'll do some flow sequences with I'm going to suggest crescent warrior, but if balance is challenging, you can drop the back heel into warrior one. So let me just show the difference here. So with crescent warrior, the heel is up. The knees bent, the heel's up. So it's a bit more wobbly. It takes a little bit more balance. Warrior one, you're going to drop the heel down. So the front leg is the same. It's the back heel and the hip that's different. And have your blocks to the front of your space. Take a deep breath in, arms rise up. On your exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Step the right leg back for crescent or warrior one. So what can help with balance is having your feet a little bit wider apart. Now, once you feel balanced, invite that earth element from the hips down. You can reach the arms. That's going to challenge the balance. We're going to keep challenging it until you decide that you found a bus stop where you want to stay. Then you're going to straighten the front leg, lower the arms, bend the front arm, arms rise up. And you repeat that. And then next time the arms are up, you just pause here. Bend the elbows into that heart opener, that how wonderful it is, mudra. And then inhale, the arms reach up. Step the back foot up to meet the front. We'll go right into the other side. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Left leg steps back and you choose your lunge. The first time around, it might take a little while to figure out the positioning. Arms rise up. Low if you like, straightening and lowering, bending and reaching. And sometimes when we're worried about balance or we're focusing on balance, we may lose track of just watching the body. So just make sure that your priority is keeping body parts safe. Pause with the knee bent, arms up, and then bend the elbows. Come into that heart opener. Then inhale, reach up, stretch. Exhale, step forward, release. Inhale, reach up. We're going to go right into another sequence. Exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Step the right leg back. Choose your lunge, crescent or warrior one. On your exhale, Dive to the inside of that front leg, arms reach back. Then inhale, rise up. 2 more times. Exhale, dive, but try not to round the spine. Keep a broadness across the shoulder blades. Next time you're up, pause. How wonderful mudra. Elbows bend down, chest is broad. Pause, breathe, feel. Then inhale, reach the arms up. Step forward, hands come to the block, back leg lifts. Lower the hip, so hips are level. Draw the right knee in towards the chest and step it down. Inhale, rise, gentle back bend. Exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. Left leg steps back into your lunge. And you flow with your breath 3 times. Pause. Bend the elbows. Lift the chest. Breathe. Watch. Feel. Then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands come to the blocks. Back leg lifts, level off the hip. So leveling off the hip is going to help activate the core. And then draw that left knee in and step it. One more time. Inhale, rise, gentle back bend. Exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. On the exhale, right leg steps back. Grab your block as you rise up. Place it between the hands. Press the hands into the block, so feel the muscles around the shoulders hug in. Then bend the elbows, slide the front corner of the block right underneath the occipital ridge. Keep the elbows towards each other. Keep the left knee bent. Use the block to lengthen the back of the neck. Invite a back bend. And then draw the arms up, pressing hands into the block. Now to transition out of this, you could step forward into mountain pose or warrior 3. Lowering the arms to shoulder height. Shift the weight to the front leg. Float the back leg up. Keep pressing the hands into the block. Press through that right heel. Knees straight. And then lower down to the front. Take a moment to just feel. Feel what there is to feel after that sequence. Get ready for the other side. Inhale, reach up. Gentle back bend. On your exhale. Press into the legs. Nice long spine. Left leg steps back. Rise up with the block. Okay, especially if you're in the crescent lunge, this can be a bit of a wobble challenge. What can be helpful is to just feel the contact points of the feet and really root down into them. And when we start adding the back bend, that adds another layer of challenge. Bend the elbows, connect to the feet, feel the feet grounding you. Slide the corner of the block right at the base of the skull. Now before you come into the back bend, make sure you steady yourself as much as possible. Then lengthen the neck, lift the chest up towards the ceiling. And you can extend the arms if you like. Pressing the hands into the block is going to offer some stability. And then to come out of this, arms lower down to shoulder height. Shift the weight to the front foot. Float the left leg up. Keep pressing the hands into the block. And release when you're. Yeah, take a moment after that. Just allow the body to integrate all that stuff. Okay, we'll take another flowing sequence to just rinse all that out. Inhale, reach up, gentle back bend. On your exhale, fold halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. On your exhale, step down to table. Turn the toes under, lift up into downward. And use this dog to stretch what needs to be stretched. Allow gravity to create length in the neck. Relax the jaw. Knees lower down. Reach the arms forward for Anahata Asana. So hips reach back. Inviting that opening through the upper back, under the armpits. Just allowing this opening. So this can be kind of intense. When you're ready, imagine a marble right in front of your nose. You're rolling it through till you come into your Sphinx pose. Interesting to just notice how this Sphinx feels compared to the one you did earlier in your practice. Option to stay here or in getting ready for spring. Our practice is a strengthening practice. So we can do some forearm planks. So you could start, you've got hands on the ground, forearms on the ground, and you just lift your belly off the ground. So it's a nice way to start the core. Notice as you do that, draw the shoulders back and down. So root to rise. So use the pressing into the arms to activate the core muscles. And then maybe you lift up the hips. Maybe you lift up the thighs. And when you lift up the thighs, that gives you access to the glutes and the legs, hamstrings. Press back through the heels. And there's a little bit, I hate to say, right, I'm hesitant to say tuck, but there's a little turning under of the tailbone to activate the core here. Shoulders away from the ears. Just 3 more breaths. And lower down. Come all the way down. Hands come underneath the forehead. Legs close together. Do another round of that upper back lift. So nod the head. Lift the elbows. And then use the hands like the hands are lifting the head off the ground. But the head stays nodding. That will, you might find, protect the neck. So we're supporting the head, pressing it into the hands so the neck muscles are kept in check. And then exhale, release down, knees bend, windshield wiper. This could be a nice stretch or release for the front of the thighs, especially right above the knee area. Release the legs down. Press up through table and take a dog. Lower the knees down. So we'll come onto our back to do some bridge poses. So we're not, I'm not going to guide winding down yet. If you're ready to wind down, you're certainly welcome to. You can do supported bridge poses as opposed to more active bridge poses that I'll be demonstrating. So come on your backs. And this will also be a hamstring strengthener optionally as well. So palms face down, feet are rooted into the floor. Press into the feet and float the hips off the ground. So pause here for a moment. Invite length in the front of the thighs. Press into the shoulder blades, press into the back of the head. Shift the weight into the right foot and lower down. Keep pressing into the right foot. The left foot, there's no weight in it. It's not lifted, but there's no weight in it. And just do this pulsation here, just using the right side. Now, it can be interesting to notice if you press more into the ball of the foot, where do you feel this? If you press into the heel, where do you feel it? And then pause next time the hips are up. Switch. So press into the left foot, lower down. And you just pulse here, pressing and rising. So the right foot is touching the floor, but there's no weight in it. And you're experimenting with focusing the weight on the heel and focusing the weight on the ball of the foot. Next time the hips are up, pause. So if you want to add on, you'll extend the left leg forward and you'll lower down and lift 3 times. So this is adding an extra layer. So it's going to increase sort of the amount of work considerably. After 3, lower the left leg down, extend the right leg and lower and lift. And so this can be really interesting to notice the difference in the 2 sides of the body. After 3, pause, lower the right leg down. Now lift the toes. So just the heels, lower down and lift up. Give the glutes a little squeeze once they get to the top. And then you pause, drop the toes, and lower down. Let the arms come out to the sides. Invite a stretch across the chest. Walk the feet to the edges of the mat. And then let the knees flow from side to side. So again, if your knees have been sensitive, you want to be especially cautious on this move, making sure there's no discomfort. It feels good to just pause and linger on one side. And again, the knees might appreciate a block slid underneath them here. This is a nice way to just stretch the front of the hips. And again, creating space between that lower rib and the hip. And your in breath, come back through center and lower the knees towards the right. Center. Heel toe the feet into the center of the mat. So when you're ready, you can set up for a supported fish pose. This is a really nice upper back stretch. You can have one block lengthwise. And now it depends on the openness and just the anatomy of your body, which height you have them on. I'm having both of them on the lowest height. So you can try this out. See how it feels in your body. You want your butt is on the ground. The shoulders drape away. So the block is traveling along the spine, and it just creates a nice natural opportunity for the shoulders to just, or the arm bones, I should say, the arm bones to just release into the shoulder sockets. And then the block for your head, again, you want to make sure that you've got space on both the front and the back of your neck. And this might be different from day to day. So just notice what your neck needs. And then if it feels comfortable, you extend your legs long. So still carrying over from March, the Anahata chakra, the heart chakra, which is located near, around the physical heart in the body. The color associated with it is green, a beautiful emerald green. And it represents openness, generosity, both giving and receiving. Spring is a time for new beginnings. And when we put our body in this physical posture of openness, we prepare ourselves for opening to new opportunities, new beginnings. As you breathe in, perhaps visualizing this beautiful emerald green orb of light pulsing in the center of your chest. Each breath, the light gets brighter and expands. And see if you can keep your attention focused on the breath and allowing the breath to create a sense of openness here. And along with the openness on the front of the body comes a sense of relaxing the back of the body. So many times when we're doing back bends and we hit resistance, we may think it's, lack of flexibility in the back of the spine. Many times it can be a lack of opening in the front of the body. Again, this comes from the day-to-day activities that put us in a position of closing off the front of the body. So we notice how this feels physically stretching across the collarbones. You notice how it feels energetically. We talked in the beginning about how we just feel, or what we sense when we see someone with rounded shoulders, closed, shivering. How does that feel energetically? And how does this feel when we're open? So in the koshas, we have different layers. We have the Annamaya kosha, the physical body, and then the energy body. Energy body can be a little more subtle. Just noticing how this pose feels energetic. We'll just take a couple more breaths here. Now you're going to come out of this slowly. This can be quite a deep opening. Start by bending your knees and just gently sort of rocking yourself side to side, just massaging out anything that might have been repositioned. And when you're ready, you can just slowly roll enough to the side to slide the blocks out of the way. And grab your tie. Or again, you can use a long sleeve shirt. Take a moment once you lie on your back to just notice if there's any more spaciousness in the upper back and across the chest after that. And just draw the right leg in, and the tie goes just before the heel. You extend the leg up. And just notice how the hamstring feels. Arms are straight. Take a couple of breaths, not pushing the leg to lengthen, but just allowing it to lengthen. You can extend the left leg. And ties in the right hand. And let that right leg go off to the right. And just looking for that stretch. Flexing the foot, pressing out through the heel. Can you make that leg straight? And then inhale back up through center. Tie comes in the left hand, and let the leg come across the body, right leg coming across to the left. Breathe. Watch. Feel. And go back up through center, remove the tie, give the leg a little hug. Stand that right leg long. Take a moment, just notice the two sides of the body. And bending both knees, take the tie just before the heel of the left leg, extend it up to the ceiling. And just allow the leg to lengthen. And the right leg. Tie in the left hand, release that left leg out to the left. Foot is flexed and you're pressing out through that heel. Inhale up through center and then across the body. When you're ready, make it your way back to center. Hug that left knee in. Release it long. Take a moment and just notice if there's any final movements, maybe elevating the hips in a supported bridge, or maybe you're ready for Shavasana. Practicing this exercise of checking in and listening to the body, asking the body what it needs, and then responding. Allow your next breath to be a little longer, a little deeper. And maybe inviting some gentle movements. Maybe wiggling the toes and the fingers. Maybe circling the ankles and the wrists. Letting the head go side to side. And when you're ready, slowly transitioning up to seated. If you'd like to join me in a chant of Om, take a deep breath in. Om. Namaste. Thank you guys.